Let's talk about the class board, which you'll find on page 163 of your player's manual. And let's talk about the actions. You have 3 actions per turn. You can move 1 space, gather, or hunt an enemy. You can do any combination of those 3, and make sure that you keep track with your action marker. Now once you are done with your turn, move your action marker back up to R and rest. Next is your hero card, which may be placed in the slot or right next to your class board. And make sure to always flip it over when you go into chipped form. Let's talk about stats, which are rolled for at the beginning of the game. Now also remember that once you roll it, it must be assigned immediately, and you cannot reassign that stat depending on your preference, meaning you can't switch the 4 and the 3 around. Each class has a +1 stat advantage, which means that whatever you roll for that stat, you get to add 1 to that roll. Remember, your limit is still going to be 6. Players receive 1 coin for any roll that is a 1 to a 3, even if that roll lands on your +1 advantage spot. Coins are only received during the initial setup, not when you go to the Fountain of View or use any other stat-altering method. When it comes to hit points, you get 3. These are lost in combat and sometimes a variety of cards or GM methods. Now, when all 3 are gone, well, logic dictates that you're dead, and in that case, the Grim Reaper will give them back to you at the beginning of your next turn. But if you lose some in battle, you can always revisit the village and get your HP back. With skills, you have a max of 3, and they're unlocked by the skill stat at the bottom, which means that if you roll a 3, you unlock 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, you're able to skill stack, which means that if you have a skill right here, you can add an extra one for that bonus. Now, to be able to refresh those skills, you have to visit the village and go to the Hero's Lodge, where you pay 1 coin to refresh 1 skill marker. And finally, let's talk about the Cash Cube. He is hired for 2 coins and can be placed in any spot of your choosing. He is a D12 and will attack any player that comes into the area. The Cash Cube is not a monster, so he can't be treated as such. And what I mean by that is he's not affected by buffs or potions or cards or anything that affects monsters. Also, when he dies, he just simply comes back to your board and is able to be hired again on your next turn. One quick note about the Cash Cube is you can't stealth past him. Once you're in the same area with him, you are engaged in combat. Unless, of course, it's your Cash Cube, and then nothing's gonna happen. He's your pal.